You guys, I hope all is awesome and you're having a beautiful, blessed day so far. And right now, I want to hang out with you a little bit and share with you this week's sermon notes. And this week's sermon, we started a new sermon series called Zip It. And it's all about the impact that our words have on us. Specifically, I'm assuming because it's called Zip It, the bad type of language that we tend to use. And I'm not really talking four-letter words, but I'm talking complaining, which this sermon is on, criticism, and put-downs and whatnot. But as we go forward and I learn more, you will learn exactly what I'm learning. So like I said, this particular sermon is on complaining. But first, I want to read the theme verse to you guys for this whole entire series. And the theme verse comes from Proverbs 18, and it's verse 21. And it says, "The tongue can bring death or life. Those who love to talk will reap the consequences." So, there are three things that we often complain about. Number one, we often complain about our companions. And to illustrate this point, Pastor Rick was telling us the story of how when Moses was leading the people out of Egypt, the people that he was leading began to complain about only having manna to eat. And they would say often that if they were still slaves, life would be better because at least they would have meat and a selection of things to eat instead of this one thing, this stinking manna that they got every day. And so their complaining got so bad that in Moses' time with God, he said, "Can you just please kill me now? Can you just take me home now? Because these people are unbearable." So we need to choose our companions wisely for this reason, but we also need to choose our words wisely and really think about, okay, so should I complain about this person, or is what I'm going to complain about so small that it doesn't even matter really in the big picture? The second thing we complain about is comparisons. We often make comparisons. Oh, if I had her money, then I'd be happy. If I had her house, then I'd be happy. If I had that job, then I'd be happy. If I were skinnier, then I'd be happy. When we put ourselves into a comparison box, life doesn't get any better. It actually gets worse because we tend to think that our life is not so good. And truthfully, every time we wake up and we are breathing and we are ready to make an impact in the world, whether it be on social media or out in our jobs or in our churches, we are blessed to be here and we are blessed to make an impact. And so we should be using what we have to make an impact for good. The number three thing that we tend to complain about is our circumstances. And that goes to my last point, that if you woke up this morning, you are totally blessed and you're meant to be here. But there are a lot of people that can complain about their circumstances. They have a right to complain because they are sick, because they have cancers, because they may not have people in their lives that can help them out and watch their kids. there's a lot of people that can complain, but that leads me to the lesson underneath number 3, and it says, if you don't have a choice in your situation, you still have a choice in your attitude. So life is all about attitude. How are you going to face it? And so, action step. When I'm tempted to complain, I'll say to myself, it could be worse. In a message series that I taught a while ago called Just Saying, Pastor Rick said this exact thing. It could be worse. But he also said to say, it could be worse and God will make it better. I know God will make it better. And that leads me to our memory verse. Our memory verse is Philippians 2, verses 14 and 15, and it says, do everything without complaining and arguing, so that no one can criticize you. Live clean, innocent lives as children of God, shining like bright lights in a world full of crooked and perverse people. So, if we are followers of Christ, we are supposed to be shining lights. We are not supposed to be dark, dim complainers, but we are supposed to be exactly the opposite. And I know that sometimes life gets hard, and we tend to complain, and life gets so mundane sometimes that we forget how blessed we are, and we complain about the little things. I was telling a friend of mine from my life group yesterday that I saw yesterday at church that I was getting ready for church, actually, and I started complaining about little things, but they were little things that I could have taken care of the night before, and I just chose not to. So it comes down to, everything in life comes down to a decision. Are you going to choose to set yourself up to complain? Or are you going to choose to set yourself up to just rejoice in the fact that you're alive and that you're able to do the activity that you're going to go do? And that leads me to the next section. There are 3 things that we can rejoice about always. But before I get into those 3 things, I want to bring you guys another verse, and it comes from Philippians 2 again, but it's verses 17 and 18, and it says, but I will rejoice, even if I lose my life, pouring it out like a liquid offering to God. Just like your faithful service is an offering to God. And I want all of you to share that joy. Yes, you should rejoice and share. You should rejoice, and I will share your joy. And again, that is Philippians 2, verses 17 and 18. So there are 3 things that we can rejoice about always, no matter what. The first thing is the joy of creation. Every time we see something that God has created, we step outside and we see the sun. And we know that God has given us this beautiful day. It wasn't man-made. Nobody's going to take it away from him. Nobody's going to take it away except God. He's all in control of creation. Okay, so the second thing that we can rejoice about always is our salvation. Jesus died on the cross for us, even when we were still sinners, and that work is done. D-O-N-E. There's nothing that we have to do to receive it except ask for it. And then the number 3 thing that we can rejoice about always is the joy of anticipation. meaning we are looking forward to a day when we'll be with Jesus, and that we will be perfect in His sight, and that we will be exactly like Him. We are not there yet. We're not perfect yet, but the day we go home is the day we'll be perfect. And that is something that we can rejoice in. So there's another action step on my notes. And it says, make the decision to praise God even if. So even if life gets really, really crappy, you know that there's a God in control that you can talk to, and that you can go to with your frustrations and your praises and your happiness and your sadness and everything. And I wanted to kind of leave you with the thought that a friend of mine had told me this a while back. And she told me, whatever you're facing, God can handle your tears. He can handle your anger. Just give it all to Him. And so I want you guys to do that this week. But there was another thing that I asked you in my first post of the day. And it was actually two questions. One was, what is the best thing? I forgot how I phrased it. But what was the best, or what is the best thing that somebody has ever said to you? And how did that make you feel? And then number two, when was the last time you complained or heard somebody complain? And how did that make you feel? So why I'm asking you guys this is because I want all of us, not just you watching me, but I want all of us to realize how much of an impact people can make with their words. They are so strong, but people don't treat them like they are. And so I want you to realize that with those good words that you can get strong. And those bad words that come from people, that they will make you weak, but guess what? You can give those words over to God. You could give every word over to God, but especially those words, and He will take that weakness and give you His strength. So I hope that you're having a great, great day. If you want to, you don't have to. You're not obligated to, but if you want to, please drop some of the encouraging words that you've heard in the comments, and I would love to read them and then respond to them and talk to you and start a conversation with you. And I pray that if you are watching this but you're not subscribed to my page already, please do, because I make videos every chance I get. Tomorrow I will be not finishing, but very close to finishing a sermon series, an older sermon series that I'm working on, and it's called Grace Anatomy. We are going to be on part 8 tomorrow, and then part 9 will come the next day. But I want to encourage you guys to stick around and share my messages and pass them on, because this place is meant to be a place of encouragement. So if you don't like me just yet, have clicked my follow button or click the like button or whatever you need to click on your social media, please do, because I would love to share this experience with you and share this encouragement with you. I will talk to you later. Have a great day. Love you. Bye.